Hello and welcome to this reflection for Holy Week. I'm Lesley and I'm an authorised preacher at St Mary Magdalene. The reading for today is taken from Mark's Gospel. On reaching Jerusalem, Jesus entered the temple courts and began driving out those who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves, and he would not allow anyone to carry merchandise through the temple courts. And as he taught them, he said, "Is it not written, 'My house will be called a house of prayer for all nations,' but you have made it a den of robbers." The chief priests and teachers of the law heard this and began looking for a way to kill him, for they feared him because the whole crowd was amazed at his teaching. When evening came, Jesus and his disciples went out of the city. As we walk with Jesus through the last days of his life, we find ourselves looking at a distilled version of his whole life and mission. Jesus is teaching and preaching to the crowds, to the temple authorities, and to the disciples. He has so much he wants the disciples in particular to take in, because he knows that time is short. In this scene, in the temple, however, we see a side of Jesus' nature that we could find surprising. This is Jesus getting cross, you could say even angry. He does not politely ask the traders to leave, or complain to the temple authorities, or even start a petition. He upends tables and benches and scatters goods and money. He is making a point, clearly and unambiguously, and quoting scripture by way of justification and explanation. The people in the temple at the time would have been shocked and maybe impressed. Certainly the temple authorities were shaken by what happened, and all the gospel writers thought the incident was important enough to be included in their narrative. Possibly like me, you were raised on words and pictures of gentle Jesus, meek and mild. A Jesus who did not display the negative emotions we humans live with all the time. I value this incident from the last days of Jesus' earthly ministry, precisely because it is so far from that slightly insipid picture. Jesus is displaying one of the human emotions which we can so often seek to suppress because we see them as bad or unchristian. The incident reminds us that whatever emotions we experience, Jesus knew that too. God became fully human in Jesus, so he knows what it is like to be angry, to be sad, to be frustrated, as well as to be joyful, happy and positive. In these times, it's good to be reminded of this, because it's been rather a year for negative emotions. I'm sure we've all felt angry, frustrated and miserable at times. If we can remember that God made us the way we are, and he knows how it feels, then at least we do not have to feel guilty as well. As with so much in life, it isn't really what we feel that matters so much as how we deal with the feelings. Whether we let the anger burn or turn it to some good use, maybe even by starting that petition. Whether we recognise our sadness so that when we see it reflected in others, we are able to empathise and support. There's another way in which remembering that God in Jesus was human can be a help to us. Praying can too often be seen as something complicated or hard. But a starting point is simply to view it as talking as you would to any other person. So however you're feeling this Holy Week, perhaps you can find a moment to tell God about it. It doesn't matter if you want to shout at him in place of overturning a table or two, or cry before him because there's no one else to cry with you, or tell him how excited you feel at the coming of spring and warmer days. Whatever you say, he will be alongside you and he will understand. just like the best of human friends.